The NBA built a team designed to kill college basketball. They threw money at top recruits, gave them national exposure, and promised development against grown professionals. For 4 seasons, it produced lottery picks: Jalen Green, Jonathan Kuminga, Dyson Daniels, Scoot Henderson. On paper, it should have been unstoppable. And then, it was gone. How does something that bold, backed by the NBA itself, vanish in less than half a decade? What went so wrong that the league abandoned it almost overnight? The truth isn't simple. It's money, politics, timing, and a mistake the NBA never saw coming. In April of 2020, while the world was still in lockdown, the NBA quietly launched an experiment. The G League Ignite wasn't just another developmental team. It was the NBA's direct answer to the NCAA. For decades, college basketball had been the main gateway to the league, with millions tuning into March Madness and schools raking in money while players earned nothing. The NBA's pitch was simple: why let colleges profit when we can? Ignite would recruit the very best high school prospects, skip the classrooms and booster dinners, and drop them straight into a professional basketball environment. They'd play against grown men, veterans clawing for one more shot at the NBA. They'd travel, practice, and prepare like professionals. And crucially, they'd get paid. The first class set the tone. Jalen Green, ranked number 1 in his class. Jonathan Kuminga, a top recruit who reclassified just to join the experiment. From day one, Ignite had credibility. Fans, scouts, and media started whispering, this could change basketball forever. But as bold as the plan was, the world around it was already working against it. The Ignite's first season was launched under a cloud: the pandemic. Live sports were strange, crowds were gone, and schedules were slashed. Instead of a full campaign, Ignite got a shortened run. They went 8-7, snuck into the playoffs, and then disappeared into the noise of a world more focused on survival than basketball experiments. Green and Kuminga? They looked good, but not legendary. Their draft stock stayed steady. Scouts didn't walk away saying, this is the future of player development. They said, that was fine. And that was the problem. Ignite was supposed to be a revolution. Instead, year 1 felt like a trial run. The NBA brushed it off. Give it time, they said. Year 2 will prove the concept. But instead of momentum, year 2 gave them something else: doubt. The second class wasn't bad. Jaden Hardy was ranked number 2 in his class. Dyson Daniels, an international standout, joined from Australia. Marjon Beauchamp brought athleticism and promise. On paper, it was solid. But once again, reality hit. Pandemic restrictions limited the schedule. Instead of 30 to 40 games like a college team, Ignite played barely a dozen. Scouts complained about lack of film, lack of big stage performances. Meanwhile, college stars were playing every week on ESPN, building their brands in front of millions. Daniels impressed, even climbing to the 8th pick in the draft. But Hardy, once hyped as a top 5 talent, slid into the 2nd round. That narrative became dangerous. Does Ignite really help players grow, or does it just showcase them standing still? The whispers grew. For a program that existed to develop talent, the Ignite pipeline wasn't producing breakout stars, and that meant pressure. So in year 3, the Ignite went all in. They found their savior, or so they thought. Scoot Henderson was different. Explosive, polished, confident. The kind of point guard who could lead a franchise. Scouts called him NBA ready today. This was the player who could prove the Ignite experiment worked, and for a moment looked like destiny. The NBA scheduled showcase games between Ignite and Victor Wembanyama's French team, 2 prodigies facing off as the projected top 2 picks in the 2023 draft. National TV, international spotlight. It was everything the NBA had dreamed of. If Scoot dominated, Ignite would finally have its proof of concept. But then Wembanyama happened. The 7'4" unicorn with a guard's skill set stole the show, cementing himself as the number 1 pick. Scoot played well, but suddenly he wasn't the story. He still went 3rd overall. He still carried Ignite's banner. But once his rookie season began, the narrative shifted again. Scoot struggled. Adjusting to the NBA wasn't smooth, and for critics it was confirmation. Ignite players weren't dominating at the next level. By then, the Ignite's reputation was set. Talented kids in, talented kids out, but no real evidence that the program was making them better. And if Scoot, their crown jewel, wasn't enough, what was left? Year 4 was supposed to be redemption. The roster included Ron Holland and Matas Buzelis, two top 5 recruits who could restore shine to the experiment. Instead, it became the breaking point. The team collapsed, finishing near the bottom of the league. There was no playoff run, no viral showcase, no star leap to silence critics. And behind the scenes, the NBA had already lost patience. By the end of that season, the announcement came. The Ignite were done. The boldest experiment in modern basketball. Gone after just 4 years. But why so suddenly? Was it really about a losing record? Number. The real reason was much bigger. While the Ignite were struggling to stay relevant, the NCAA made a desperate move of its own. Under pressure from lawsuits, players, and rival options, it finally changed its rules. Name, image, and likeness, NIL. For the first time, college athletes could profit from endorsements, sponsorships, and their personal brands. And overnight, the power balance shifted. College players weren't just playing in front of millions on national TV, they were getting paid for it. In some cases, they were earning millions of dollars for a single season. The Ignite, with its modest contracts and limited visibility, couldn't compete. Why go play 12 games in empty gyms when you could play 35 games in March Madness, sign deals with Nike, and have your face plastered across ESPN? The alternative the NBA had built was no longer attractive. NIL didn't just weaken Ignite, it obliterated the entire business model. But even if NIL had never existed, Ignite still had problems that ran deeper than money. From the start, Ignite's structure was awkward. Each year they signed 1 or 2 elite recruits, maybe a couple more from the top 100, but you can't field a team with just 3 teenagers. So the rest of the roster? Journeyman veterans and role players. In theory, those vets were mentors. In practice, they were just bodies on the floor, and often unhappy about playing second fiddle to kids half their age. At the same time, Ignite couldn't overload on prospects either. If too many joined, some wouldn't get playing time. Scouts can't draft a kid they never see on the floor. So every season felt like a patchwork roster. Not enough elite recruits, not enough team identity. Just a showcase squad that existed in limbo. And then there was exposure. College had tradition, rivalries, big arenas, fan bases that lived and died with every game. Ignite felt artificial, a made-for-TV idea without the TV audience. Add it all together. Lack of development proof, awkward team building, NIL money flooding college hoops. And Ignite never had a chance. The G League Ignite was supposed to be revolutionary. For 4 years, it teased that possibility. It gave us Jalen Green, Jonathan Kuminga, Dyson Daniels, Scoot Henderson. But it never gave us the one thing it needed most, proof that it was better than college. The pandemic stole its launch momentum. NIL shattered its business model, and its own structure kept it from feeling like a real alternative. In the end, the NBA built a weapon to take down college basketball, and instead, they accidentally strengthened it. Because Ignite didn't fail for lack of talent, it failed because talent by itself wasn't enough. College had the tradition, the spotlight, the rivalries, and now the money. Ignite had a concept, but in sports, concepts don't sell tickets, stories do. And once the story faded, so did the experiment. That's the rise and fall of the G League Ignite. A bold idea, 4 short years, and a reminder. In basketball, even the best plans collapse when the game changes around them.